Hola! So in this video we're going to talk about infusions. So what infusions does is it makes your gear stronger. So to give you an example, we have this, which is for my guildmate, and you can see the one on the right. So these used to have the same stats until she infused it. So the one on the right has been infused just once. It can be infused up to 3 times. So she has 2 more times she can infuse it. And you can just imagine how much stronger it's going to get. So if you've ever been the same level as someone else and you're wondering how their gear score is so much higher than yours, it's probably because they're infusing, and also plussing items helps a lot as well. So in order to infuse things, you can either infuse the same exact item, and that will be a free infusion, which means you don't have to spend an ether drop. So you see down here, it says 0 ether drops. And then over here, it shows you how much higher it's going to go. So this is 45, and it would go to 55. They always go up 10 levels. So just keep that in mind. You also want to keep in mind the elements when you're infusing, because especially with this game going the elemental route, you really want to find that balance between elements and neutral stuff. So like here, this has 20 dark, whereas something neutral, they have 6 across the board. So you want to find that balance, and then also keep in mind that stuff from the stuff from the elemental ordeals actually have lower elements, so it's only 12. So keep that in mind as well. And your ether drops. Ether drops are what you use to infuse things when you don't have the exact same item. They're kind of rare to come by, so you want to be really particular on what you're going to infuse. Do not infuse SRs with drops of ether. Don't do it. Do not infuse 24 cost gear. There will be people who tell you not to infuse 25 or 26 cost. I'm not going to be that person, because I think they can have their place. Because obviously the lower cost something is, the more cost you can put into something else. So to give you an example, I have this bow right here that's 29 cost. And if I were to go choose this dark bow that's 25 cost, you can see the attack is slightly higher, which it's probably slightly higher because it is +5. And then the M attack is slightly lower. So as you can see, the fully infused 25 cost bow has very similar stats to a 29 cost bow uninfused. So I think it could be really useful, especially since this is a dark element. For weapons, you really do want to pay attention to the elements. So I'm all about them right now. So just keep them in mind. So when you infuse something that's not exactly the same, first of all, you have to remove it from your favorites. It's going to go right here, which is near identical. And near identical is essentially the same level or higher. It will never be a level lower, not even just one level. It's always higher. Now for everything else, similar weapon, it's just anything else, and it goes down here. So near identical item is going to cost you one ether drop, and then it costs you this much gold. And then you see up here, see, it's usually 3 diamonds, and then it fills in 1 diamond. Whoops. And then a similar weapon costs 7 ether drops. So you definitely want to be really careful about spending 7 ether drops. I and everyone else I know are very against ever doing this. So I think it just depends. Like, if you're a whale, you can probably have more leeway. But for me, I would suggest not doing so, except for I would only ever consider a skill. I'm never like this Ignis helm. I'm gonna have this forever. Like, the skill is too amazing. So yeah, I have considered, should I put an infusion in it? But then I changed my mind. Obviously I can because I have 13, but it's up to you. You do what you want. So you know what, let's just go infuse something. So I have this bow that I like a lot. I'm gonna have it forever. So I can throw this bow into it, and it's gonna cost 1 ether drop and 200,000 if I'm seeing that correctly. And then it does this, is, you know, just to make sure you're doing the right thing. And there we go. And the numbers turn yellow. Now, if I wanted to infuse this into something, I think it's called a perfect infusion. Where'd that bow go? There it is. Oh, this isn't a thingy. This isn't all my gear sets. So it's not going to let me do it because it's in a... well, currently it's equipped, but it's also in a gear set. But a perfect infusion is essentially you infusing something that's already been infused. However, it usually costs like an extra ether than what it would cost over here. So it's really important to keep that in mind too when you're infusing items. I mean, I could go in and just undo all my gear sets, but I'm not going to because I have too many archer things. But yeah, you can't... Did this change? No. But yeah, you can infuse up to 3 times. Also, another thing to pay attention to is these diamonds. So you can only infuse things that cost this... I shouldn't say cost. That can be infused the same amount of times. So you see here, everything that I can infuse can only be infused 3 times themselves. Whereas if I chose something else, like this Lamia bow, which is 2 diamonds, I don't have anything here, but I do have all this stuff down here. So basically the ultra rares that that get infused 2 times are either items that come from events or the 24 cost items, which were originally SRs. And then of course they still cost 7, so I would never do that. So yeah, that's how you keep in mind. You can infuse, so you basically want to focus on things that is either the exact same or near identical. And near identical is always going to be the same level or higher. And then for when it comes to clothing, you can only infuse the same clothing type. So this is an armor. I can only put armor into it. I cannot put clothing into it. So I have this clothing item right here, which is the same level or higher and 3 diamonds, but it's a clothing item. So it goes down here with the similar stuff, which is going to cost 7, so I'm going to decline. And it's the same thing with the hats and helms, obviously. So you got this, which is a hat. So it'll take the hats and the helms go down here. So we have a helm right here. That's higher, and it's 3, but it's a helm. So make sure to pay attention to your gold as well. And you want to pay attention to what you're infusing and make sure it's something that you're going to be using for a long time. And where to get the ether drops is, so sometimes, like right now, if you do this spawn, you have a chance to get ether shards or droplets of ether, but you only can get one. And then those, you need 10 of to turn into a drop of ether. And then sometimes they have other spawns, like during the Fate Stay Night event, there was a spawn that cost 100 gems. They came with a drop of ether. So obviously if you're a whale, you're going to have more opportunities to get those ether drops, just because you have more money or whatever. What's it called? Expendable income? Sometimes, you know, like Unison League will have like login events or Facebook campaigns, and they'll give out like ether shards. There's also like a subquest called Ether Springs, and you got one there. And then also in your missions, your first 5 times of infusing, you get 3 ethers. So if you haven't done it yet, I would definitely say to do infusions to get all the mission rewards, because you get the ether drops, and then you also get gems, which we all know we love gems. So your first time infusing, you get 1 ether. You infuse 3 times, you get 1 ether. You infuse 5 times, you get 1 more ether. And then 10 times, you get the gem. 15 gem, then it goes up every 10 times you infuse, just a gem. Then when you get to 50, you get 3 gems each 10 times you infuse. And then it stops at 100. And that's the most amount of times you can infuse to get the mission rewards. And the thing is, it's really easy to do this with friendship points, because these spawn items that the SRs, that can't be reforged. So once you get like, doubles, you just infuse them right away. And it's easy. There's no reforging needing to be done. Because, I don't want to say because, but yeah, I forgot to say that when you do infuse, it has to be reforged. So since these don't need to be reforged, it just makes it super easy to get those missions pretty fast. I mean, it's pretty tedious to have to be like doing friend points over and over again, but it's still faster than trying to just wait and reforging things. And if you have something that needs to be reforged, it's not going to tell you how many times you need to infuse it until after you reforge it. And then another place to get the ether drops, sorry, I'm clicking all over the place, is, there it is. We got Coliseum medals, so you got them both right here. This is event exclusive, so I'm not sure if it's going to stay there or not. So that's a place to get them. And then also, if you haven't already, grand medals, you were able to get an ether drop. It's not up there anymore, so I can't remember how much it cost. But it's pretty easy to get grand medals nowadays because you get like 60 for just augmenting. And I'm pretty sure you still get some when you go to guild battles. It hasn't been reset for a while, but I know when I first started out playing the game, there was an ether drop in there. And my significant other was like, you need to buy that ether drop. But I didn't understand the importance of it, okay? And I was super new, so I didn't have like a lot of grand medals. Or I mean, I did, but I was like, I have to save them so I can get all the hair and stuff. And then they did reset it for all the people who had already bought it. So I didn't have the option of getting two, because when they reset it, they got rid of the one that was there. And then it was just a new one that cost more grand medals. So when they pop up there, just get them right away, because you never know when it's going to get reset. And then also they'll have stamp cards where you can get the ether drops as well. So like all the Arcadia ordeals, they'll be at the bottom of the stamp card. So you just gotta do Arcadia 60 times. You got yourself an ether drop. There'll be other events too where they'll have stamp cards that'll have ether drops. It's always gonna be the more difficult ones. So it's usually Paragon and up. For the Elementor deals, it's not. But for just like events, I think Santa was Paragon and up. I think the Snowman event was Paragon and up as well. So yeah, you just want to keep an eye out so you can get them. And yeah, I think I covered everything now. And that's the happy world of infusions. You cannot infuse monsters yet. Apparently in Japan you can, but I think it's only for the lower cost monsters for right now. And also, they're not going to be using ether drops. It's going to be using a whole new thing. So for a long time, people were like, when are we going to be able to infuse monsters? Probably soon. But like I said, it's going to be different. It's not going to use ether. So I wasn't sure if I should include it in this video or not, but I just wanted to show you because they do look yellow. Again, the monsters is the same thing. You can infuse the same monster, or if you need to do like a similar costing monster, it's this. This is what the new monster thingy is going to look like when it hits global. And you see it's going to cost 1,500 grand medals. So That's not bad. And then they're also doing the shard system as well. I don't think it's this one. There it is. So you see it right here. Whoops. EA. It has 5 little shards. I don't know how many shards you need to make it because it's brand new. So yeah. Now you know. If you have any more questions, just ask and I'll try and answer them. And that's it. Happy unison leaguing and later.